Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Boss Rush here on this Friday afternoon. It's May 27th. May 27th, March 27th. Jeez Louise, my God. Yeah, you know, I've got contact in, and the 3 down in the corner looks suspiciously like a 5. Maybe it's wishful thinking because we need the weather to get warmer. My name's Chris Melasinos. I'm the host of Boss Rush here, always stumbling across the start line. But we got a full house here today. Good. Why don't you all just introduce yourselves? Let's see if they can figure out the order.
I am Dean Takahashi, I'm not lead writer. I'm editorial director at GameStreet.
They figured it out. Awesome.
I'm Susan Cummings. I'm CEO of 10-6 Games in the UK, building VOUS Zombies.
Nice.
Amazing.
Awesome. I'm Mark Delora. I'm a game developer and the exec director of the Game Developers Conference Festival of Gaming.
Yay! Woo! I can't believe it. We did it. We got it right. I was the one that messed up at the beginning because it ain't May. It's March.
3 years.
Yeah.
Ship it.
Oh my God! I'm just exceedingly tired today. I am just, I'm not myself. I was sharing with Susan before we jump in. Look at these beautiful coasters that she made for me, and she gave them to me at GDC.
Oh, nice.
Look at that, right? And it's all like
what's the design there. You
cool. versus Zombies.
Oh, okay.
And 10-6 Games.
Lee made those. I did not make those.
No, you made them, Susan. Lee wasn't there. Lee wasn't thoughtful and present of mind to give them to me. You did. So. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, hello everybody that's joining. Sorry we got off to a little bit of a late start there, but we're here now.
Yeah,
so
that's what matters.
And happy Friday to you all.
Why are you tired, Chris?
It is just I have been waking up for some reason at like 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, like every day this past week. I don't know why. So then I started taking it upon myself to actually start getting up and exercising, which then makes you even more tired. But then last night I had spent 3 hours on the Always Supporting Games community live stream on their Discord there, which was just really awesome. And it was just so wonderful to talk with everybody. And we talked about our industry, the pressures that we're facing, how do you break in, different ways to think about it. And then we went down that rabbit hole of video game history. And we're doing it from my home office. I'm like, oh, I have this thing over here. Hang on. So, just running across the office and constantly pulling stuff out. And yeah, it was great. It was great. But, I didn't
realize Amir does that, I guess. But,
yeah. That sounds cool.
Yeah. They do that every Thursday. Yeah. Every Thursday, they have, different speakers that come in and talk. And it's just really wonderful with, maybe 40 people like all the time in there from the community and asking questions. And it was awesome. It was great. So yeah. How is everybody, before we jump into the news, Dean, how are you doing? Have you now fully recovered after GDC and then all the prep work? I know that you're currently underway for your event that's coming up in May, right?
Yeah, we're going to have like a whole flurry of events starting when I fly out to Brazil for the Gamescom Latam. Nice. The 27th. And then we have another event on April 27th in Austin. And then we have the Game Street Summit, May 18th and 19th. Summer Game Fest, we're going to do a side event on June 4th. And then I think the Unreal Fest as well.
In Chicago.
So like that whole set of events for us is pretty a big task for our small company. But we kind of need to do it where the opportunities are. So
yeah. I mean, great. Yeah, I know. And more power to your team. I mean, yeah, you are doing a ton of stuff, which is...
You're going to start having games beats where there's no Dean because you're busy somewhere else. That'll be really weird.
Well, that's where Alex Lee, our lead news writer out of New York, is going to be the only one at a couple of those, like say Rio Fest, and then also the Austin event.
Oh, you know what I'm smelling right now? This is a PAX West, PAX East situation that's going to start brewing there for Dean and the team, right? Mm-hmm.
Well,
Which one was the OG?
He had one more writer on board. David Jagno got a job elsewhere, so we're hiring a freelance writer as well. So.
Oh,
there are a bunch of good writers, like I know on the market in the UK who were laid off, and folks like Matt Reynolds, I think is still out there, and there's definitely others too that I could think of.
We put up a note.
Did you post about it on LinkedIn? Because I'll share it, Dean, if that's
we put a note up on LinkedIn last week, and I think more than 100 people.
Wow.
So you're not having any trouble, folks.
And 50 of those are bots.
Does not surprise me.
If you guys were doing this, would you open or put a correspondent in either LA or the UK?
UK. Definitely.
UK. You don't have anybody covering UK. Yeah, and
the nice thing about the UK is it's an English speaking audience for sure, but also you catch the news early, and so by the time I wake up, I don't have to go, oh my god, and have to write a story real fast.
Oh,
that's 100%
nice.
Yeah.
And you also need somebody in Asia.
You get closer. You get closer to round the clock coverage, right?
Yeah. Gamer and Gamescom, it'll make it easier for you to have somebody over here.
Yeah.
If we did hire somebody there, we would then have a chance to do more events over there.
Yeah, for sure. Folks, you're listening to how the sausage is made. So these are those decisions. Yeah, I would definitely go ahead. And that gives you
having no one in LA
coverage.
Also means I got to fly down there all the time.
Oh, boo-hoo. You're flying from San Francisco to LA, man. That's not even flying. You can't even sleep on that. You get on, you get off. Like that's cry me a river. All right, Susan, how are you doing?
TSA and ICE are wonderful right now. Right?
Yeah. We're going to park that. We're going to park that for now. We're going to hear how our colleague Susan is doing. Susan, how are you today?
Susan's good. Susan's finally recovered from jet lag. It's getting harder the older I get.
You should use that fly kit stuff.
Which one's that?
Fly KITT. It's a bunch of vitamins and minerals and an app, and I used it when I flew over to Amsterdam recently and flew back, and it helped a lot.
In the flight kit to Amsterdam included like a giant spliff. And
I tried the time shifting app that Perrin Kaplan swore by, and I am not disciplined enough with my life to try to stick with that. I think you have to be like living on your own. All I know is the day before I had to fly to GDC, I woke up and like, right, Lee, we got to keep all the blinds down because I have to pretend like it's nighttime. And he just looked at me, and I think he probably gave me the finger. At least he deserved to if he didn't. And so he wasn't having any of that. There are times of day where you have to wear sunglasses so you don't get any light. Like it's an all-in thing. So needless to say, I did not do a very good job.
Okay. Yeah, this stuff is even more all in because there's all sorts of like melatonin and vitamins, and so this is like a system of things. It worked really well, but you do have it's a lot of stuff.
B vitamins and riboflavonoids. Well, good. Well,
a teenage kid around, it just made so anyway. So I'm getting over it. Good. And getting ready for London Game Festival, which is the next thing for us over here, which is coming up like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's a big week of stuff. There's this thing called the VIP 100. That's debates, and so that'll be fun. And we're an official selection in the New Game Plus, Next Game Plus. So we'll be demoing. So we just put our demo up on Steam Playtest. So that we can make sure it's in good shape.
Very cool. You will have to report back to the group here.
Yeah. It was good. It was 2 weeks before, which was just too much. And it's very consumer oriented. So there'll be folks just coming in playing games, which is fun too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
Mark,
all that's
excellent. Mark, how are you doing, buddy? We missed you last week. You were recovering from GDC. You said your voice was like broken glass.
I'm still sick.
Oh boy.
Last night was the first night that I went out and had dinner and talked to actual people. Ran into David Edery. and his wife, which was great.
Just now like that he owns his own company again, right?
Yeah, former Netflix studio owner, now independent again.
Yeah, he kept the name though, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So he boomeranged back to Indie Studio.
Spry Fox.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah, they're awesome. I woke up this morning thinking about all of the angles on the GDC that I want to spend a day or two pondering how to improve. So like the whole team right now is in sort of navel gazing mode, thinking about, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, you know, for processes, for staff, for attendees, for sponsors, for all the things. And I'm like, okay, what are the angles that I have that are different from the rest of the team that I can grind away on and make a difference. So I think one of the things I'm thinking about is just the crunch of it all. I mean, it was like a game development quality crunch mode for the last 6 weeks. Only all of the levers you can pull for a game, we couldn't pull. Like we couldn't slip the ship date, we couldn't get more staff, we couldn't reduce the feature set, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we're in trouble, we're just gonna grind all the way from here to the conference. So I'm like, okay, I gotta think about this some more. I'm like, next time around, like some of those things will solve, some of those things will probably add on to, but how do we just give ourselves the ability to be flexible in areas and, you know, not kill everybody?
Well, I mean, you made so many changes this year. You can't do everything, right? And so you do have to go into going, okay, we've done all that we can do, right? It's a train without brakes. It's coming. The date's set. This is all we could get done. So park the other pieces, figure out what, you know, how to stack those, but also take the feedback.
Oh God! Don't even say the word feedback to me right now.
Right?
Like,
no, right.
I'm only able to just now hear feedback.
yeah. But here's the thing, right? Remember, folks. Feedback is just another set of data. It's not that you have to do all of it. It's not that you have to listen to all of it, right?
Sometimes it's data with a dagger, and sometimes it's data with a piece of chocolate.
That's exactly. Well, remember, listen. I always say,
daggers. Wait another couple of weeks, and I'll be ready for daggers.
Well, it's not. It's remember. Don't listen to necessarily the words. Listen to what people are saying, right? Like it may not be.
I know. Yeah. What's that, dude?
I said dagger and dark chocolate.
Dagger moving together. Yeah.
Oh, see, we could do let's do a D&D inspired, you know, chocolate bar, right? Daggers and dark chocolate. Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Ogre's favorite treat. All right. We only have Susan here for a little while today, so I'm glad everybody's well. I'm glad we're all here. And
I got a good reason. I'm meeting my new baby nephew.
Shoot. We need. Where's my
little sister who was 4 when Lee and I met? Is having her first kid. So, and hang on a second. You want to speak about it? Mark, you're gonna love this. I had to pick up one of these to bring.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh,
awesome. I was really excited that you guys had one.
That's so cool.
By the way, that's the GDC thing. I thought it was really cool that you guys had that big kid drop-off area. There was like
awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Oh, I'm glad.
Great idea.
Yeah, it helps people attend, which is cool.
Exactly right.
I haven't met my nephew yet. His name is Woody, which is cool.
Yeah,
too.
Nice.
That's
very
awesome.
Very cool.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
I know. That's gonna have to be his like birthday theme every.
No, I do. Just every time you see him, you could just go, "There's a snake in my boots." Right? That's going to be the one. Well, that's so lovely. Well, while we have you here, why don't we go ahead and jump into the news? Okay, what's the big news? What do we got? What are we talking about today?
There's been some news.
Yeah, there has been some news.
Where do we want to start?
Let's go start with the.
She said it.
Yeah, let's go start with the big one here.
Epic layoff, Meta layoff.
Yep.
Sony layoff.
Layoffs.
The Sony layoff too? Did I miss that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And there was Amazon layoffs as well, right there.
Oh, really? Amazon layoffs too?
The game studio stuff. Yeah.
Epic had previously had 830 layoffs, I think, in 2023. I think they probably bulked up again, but I think Fortnite is not doing as well as they hoped or expected, and I think it's only recently been back on mobile, really. And, it's global for like a week or two now in Google Play worldwide, and they're in the U.S. and Apple. But yeah, they're not global on Apple yet, because the litigation's still going on around the world. Mobile used to be such a huge part of Fortnite 6 years ago, right? So that litigation has been very costly, but also on top of that, the last few seasons maybe haven't resonated with fans as well, and so a couple thousand people. Very sad.
Yeah,
I think it's about 20% of the staff.
It was 20%.
That's about like what I heard too.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what the strategy was for the layoffs. There were so many people who were senior, it was just like a wide spectrum of people, senior people, junior people, marketing people, developers, and so just like a ton of great people.
Yeah, it's like, what are they going to give up, because they can't do all that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, none of us are on the inside there. We don't have any, additional insight into what the decisions were. We can only go by, we know from our friends that have been impacted, and to everybody that's been impacted, of course, please make sure you go ahead and check out the Always Supporting Games community resources. Make sure you reach out to friends and colleagues, us, to help any way we can. Look at each other's networks, those sorts of things. Take some time to take care of yourself, right? Because it is a huge, it's a huge change, and just hoping for again, soft, quick landings for everybody involved. And it's far be it from me to know how to go ahead and do that. I mean, in management, at some points you have to face those things, and sometimes you're on the receiving end of that too, right? Which I've had. But Tim's statement, he got out ahead of it, and my experience with Tim is he is very much a straight, honest shooter. Like, he just wants to get the information, he wants to get it right, and wants to do right by his people. So he was very open and candid about how they're going to support their colleagues, and so they gave
4 months of severance pay, I think, right?
4 months of severance pay. They accelerated the vesting of stock. They kept options open, I think, for 2 years. They extended medical care, like it. This, and he said, in the statement, I believe he said something like, "In this climate, it just should be stated, this had nothing to do with AI or anything like that, right? It has to do with the health of the business, right?" So, again, I wish the best for everybody impacted.
In some way, it's a surprise to have something that large happen, as things are supposed to be recovering this year.
Yeah.
Right? And, I think maybe that's a sign of, like, they tried to hold this day off for a while, right? And that it's been the last 3 years that the business has been tough, really. And then I think everybody was on the road towards expecting a better year this year, right? And especially maybe a lot of the companies that had cut back earlier. But it's between all these different kinds of layoffs happening, it doesn't look like that sort of rosy year has arrived yet, right?
Yeah, agreed. And, then it's also, with the changes that we're seeing, as we were just talking about here with the Meta layoffs, but then they talk about, there's another article that came out about MetaQuest usage reaches an all-time high in 2025, right? So it's a lot of, it's understandable why there's confusion, right? And consternation.
I did talk to the Alchemy CEO, Andrew Eich. I can't pronounce his last name, but one of the things he noted was that there's sort of the smaller unexpected games have taken off on MetaQuest, right? Like Gorilla Tag is the perfect example of that, right? And it's not so much what a lot of Meta was working on, which is hyper realistic AAA games with top brands like Deadpool, right? And those are really expensive games to make, and so perhaps a recognition of that. They also have, they're now planning to shut, or maybe not shut, Horizon Worlds as well.
Yeah.
So I think they seem to be vacillating a bit on that because fans vociferously wanted to stay, right?
I think having worked in XR for a bit, I think there are very specific things that make sense in VR, that you want. I mean, I've seen pitches for things like, hard battlers in VR. And I'm just, why? Like, why? I don't want to do that if I'm playing a card battling room. Like, I just want to make it as simple as possible to play my cards. And I don't want to be faffing about and trying to hold things. And so I think that sometimes, that's one of the things that happened in VR is people kind of forgot that there's certain things that are great, like, music games and, active, and there's stuff that you're just kind of, why?
Yeah.
Was other news about a week ago too, where Savvy announced that they were buying Moonton Games. From ByteDance or TikTok, right? Moonton, yeah. And then, so they paid about more than $6 billion for this. And the funny thing for me here was that I interviewed Brian Ward at GDC, and then they kept asking me, like, when are you going to run that story? When I transcribed this thing, also did a big show recording with him for a podcast, and then so the morning that I read it, then Bloomberg, and the headline for my story is, "Will Savvy's acquisition slow down?" Yeah. No way, says Brian Ward. Right. So I read that story. Yeah. And then Bloomberg read this story about, like, they just bought Moonton for $6 billion. And they're like, oh, that's why you guys wanted me to rush that story out.
Yeah.
Once again, little peek behind the curtain, everybody. That's
funny.
Yeah. Well, listen, with regard to the Horizon Worlds pivoting, changing position, right? There was this article that came out here as well. I've been emotionally preparing myself for this for a while. A top Horizons Worlds creator reacts to the platform's VR shutdown, right? And I've heard this from several developers that had built spaces in there and trying to figure out, how they pick up and pivot these things. And so I don't have any additional insight beyond what you all know, because we're reading this stuff, and Dean gets to report on the stuff in his team, right? But
Alex Lee did a very good job. With covering Horizon Worlds, and he had covered their big pivot really into mobile, right? And how that was actually proving to be fairly good and successful, I guess, right? And so, in some ways, to pull the plug like this, midstream is a bit severe.
It is. And that's why I think the word of the day is disintermediation. So as you're building your experiences, building your companies, right? It's important to remember that things like this seemingly can come out of the blue. So, what is the contingency plan for your studio? How do you build forward? How do you keep skills intact? These sorts of things. So for all of that, right, it's how do you, protect yourself, your developers, your community, to keep that content going. I do remember, there was a period of time where, like when Stadia had shut down, and then talking to some developers that were impacted and said, hey, but there are the streaming options. And a couple of them were like, no, like, we're not going to let this happen to us now. We're just going to take our games, repackage, and publish them directly, like, through, well understood and long-term sort of avenues, right? So I got no answers, man, and I'm tired. So, my heart is out there with everybody, and my goodness. Let's if we can, let's talk about another, thing that's impacting us. I thought this one was a bit interesting. Ion Neo pulls next to Windows gaming storage handle because of AI-driven memory shortage. We're just seeing more of these things, right?
So they're in that bad position of being a brand new product from a small company trying to make sure that they have a real supply chain, right? And they're cutting deals, and they get promised so much, but the volume is so low that they're not getting volume discounts the way some of the big console makers would, or the bigger PC makers, and so they're really at the mercy of the actual price of the day for memory chips, right? And as we know, I guess memory chips went up 50% in price in Q4 and 90% in Q1, and so this is just compounding. And so they were saying that they were ready to launch back in December. They said they're ready to launch this handheld, elite gaming machine for Windows at a $2,000 price, right? And then they said, just as they pulled the plug here, or they put a plug on pre-orders, right? They just stopped taking new orders. But they said that it would cost them $4,000 now to break even on that machine, right?
That's insane.
That's not sustainable, they said. And,
I mean, $2,000 already for a handheld device like that is asking a lot. Double the price because of RAM, bottlenecks. That's just untenable.
RAM, in addition to that, was SSD prices are going up.
Yeah.
So, it's that's very stark indicator of just also why you just have a hard time being a new entrant in the hardware business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm doing another little project and went to pick up a Raspberry Pi. Have you seen the price of Raspberry Pis? 16 gig Raspberry Pi is $200. I was like, no, but so I went with a little lesser model and was just like, okay, I can be fine with that. And it's like, it's crazy. It's just, stop, everybody stop, please. It's like, we have to build and we need to ship this stuff. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. All right, well, let's talk.
And I think those big hardware makers, they're now overdue for new machines, right? 6 years for a new console for PlayStation and Xbox. And they now face that choice of they could further lose console market share, I guess, to whoever has already got a new machine out there, Switch 2 as an example, right? Yeah. But they also have to eat some of that memory cost because they can't go charging $4,000 for a machine either, right?
Yeah.
So how much of that do they want to eat and lose money on when they launch a new console is a big calculation, big question there. And what year becomes the best year to launch? And they already seem like they're pushing towards 2028, right?
Yeah. Hey, Dean, real quick, I know Susan needs to run. She's got a very important meeting this afternoon with a very important person. So, Susan, it's lovely to see you as always.
Lovely to see you too.
And enjoy the time change that happens for you this weekend, where you're going to lose an hour.
Oh, yeah.
But get some sleep, say hi to the family there, and we'll see you next week, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. Yes. Dean. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of positive things that have happened here. Our friends over at Behavior Interactive have acquired the Fun Pimps, creators of 7 Days to Die.
Nice.
Yeah. Behavior is such a wonderful company and really just incredible leadership. I've had the pleasure to really get to know Stephanie Marchant over there. Right. I think I'm not butchering her last name. And she's just absolutely just incredible as one of the leaders of the company there. And then Mark, a friend of ours, has just joined Behavior recently, is A. Thomas Goldberg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, has gone over there to work in the studio there. If you love horror games, they're the ones to beat. And they went ahead and purchased.
And not realized how big they've gotten too. They're about 1,200 people now, and they describe themselves as Canada's largest game studio.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. So it's really good to see them continue to expand and continue to grow and really lean into what they know how to do and stay focused on that. So I think that's awesome for them over there. And then Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
Selling
so now that number is out of date, right?
Right. And that's only 4 days ago. So Dean, do you have an update for that? Do you know?
Like 5 million, right? So,
oh my God, 5 million copies.
Yeah. That's
amazing.
Pretty good launch. And for a game that seemed like it was in the making forever. I forget how long was it now. Like 8 or 10 years, I think. Right?
Oh gosh, right?
Yeah. So good for them. Gorillabus should be happy with that, I think.
Oh, but absolutely. I mean, how can you not be happy with it? That's amazing, right? That's amazing.
Being a game journalist and trying to get through the tutorial, it's a bit of a chore to learn their at least on the console controller, their sort of movement scheme and all that.
Oh yeah.
Is different buttons, right? So it's not the same kind of shooter buttons that you're used to. But so it is, I think, it's an interesting sort of process you have to go through in order to get into the game and really playing it, I think. But people seem to be getting past that quite well, and then enjoying this sort of vast world as well.
That's awesome. All right, what other stories do you have, Mark? What's going on in your big brain that we should discuss?
Well, I got a couple things. They're a little bit out of something. They're out
of pocket.
I don't know what they are. The United States router ban is on my mind.
Oh my goodness!
As a gamer, the idea that it's going to be tougher to buy routers.
Yes.
Which is important as a gamer, even as not a gamer, it's important. So thinking about what the constraints are going to be on that going forward, and how we'll find more router manufacturing in the States or other countries.
I think Netgear actually their stock took a pop because they don't manufacture in China, right? Which is where they're targeting right now. And now there's all these videos popping up on YouTube about who has a phone that sounds like that.
It's not me. I think it might have happened in my house, though.
I was like, my goodness, either that's a fantastic throwback tone, or my goodness, Mark has a rotary dial apocalypse phone.
That would be amazing.
Right? Sorry, that one just took me by surprise.
That was a good noise.
And then, so now there's all these videos popping about open source routers.
Yeah, the DDWRT stuff.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be, just to understand what's happening there, I'll definitely keep eyes on that, right? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, that was interesting. Another thing, of course, I probably skipped over the thing that you might have thought I would say first, which was the social media addiction case from Meta and YouTube.
Yeah.
And I guess it was 2 cases, right, that they lost.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if it's both of those in both cases. I didn't really.
I think it was like $5 and $2 million, and it was the plaintiff who said that it was because of YouTube and like in their algorithms and they cited
Meta and Facebook, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really about how that took a toll on their mental health, and then a lot of the testimony came from people who were more like whistleblowers that sort of verified, I guess, how much I guess they didn't care and just pursued the algorithms that would get them the best either financial result or the best engagement with people. And I think they made that argument that something like social media, which is supposed to be something that brings us all together, right, can be described as an addiction for people. And if you don't do enough to mitigate that addiction, and instead you encourage it, then in this case the court will hold you responsible. right?
Yeah, it's always the line between engagement and addiction is one that is always just like super difficult to navigate in my mind. But when it comes to kids, you should definitely be, choosing to be much more conservative about that.
Yeah, and it's very relevant to the game industry as well.
Yeah,
and how it thinks about things like loot boxes, how much to get people engaged, whether they should be playing for long bouts of time or not, right? So it's like next door really to the game industry.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit like some of this. Wow, I just broke my pen in half. I must be stressed out. Sorry, just half my pen just flew across the office. I think that there's been some negligence on the part of regulators in terms of not necessarily passing legislation, but giving guidance at least. Best practices and things like that. We've seen things like COPA, over the years, but I don't really think that there is strong research-backed guidance that's available out there for companies to follow. And if you really want an innovative entrepreneurial sector of businesses pursuing this kind of work, that's important. To find the guardrails and not expect everybody to sort of navigate this on their own. Get with it, people.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
And I know that the lawsuits are proceeding through the justice system for Roblox now, and whether it's done enough to protect kids against predators. And Roblox keeps talking about they put out 125 different safety measures during the last year, but they still got dozens and dozens of lawsuits from parents who are upset about what their kids have experienced on the platform, right? So it's not something that's going to go away. It's not something that's going to be automatically fixed by AI, right? It is something that is going to take very serious attention to stamp out.
Yep. Well, that's a good place to pivot since you brought up helped by AI. So Verse 8 raises $5 million for AI-driven game creation platform.
Cool. What's that?
So this is basically a platform that allows anybody to go to this website and type in what they want, and it will automatically create a game worth your time.
Have you tried it?
I sure have.
This is kind of late in the cycle, right? It's like, companies that were doing this have gotten funding, say, more than a year ago. I think. I don't know. I think of Moonlake AI, which was at GDC with a booth on the floor, and they were showing people how theirs worked, right? And so this company seems in a lot earlier stage. Bitmagic was also in the market, like say before.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting that these companies still get funding, I guess. And
that is a great way to put it, Dean.
Maybe it's a sign that, AI just also keeps changing too.
Right. It does. And so look, I mean, it is interesting, like from experimentation standpoint and everything else. I've gone into play the games that were created there, and they are basically just clones of every sort of game you can imagine, including using the actual name of the games that they are cloning, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
So when they taught, this is the stuff where, in the industry, we talk about this all the time, right? That they have 5,000 creators and 25,000 games generated. And all I keep thinking about is, the games industry crash that we saw twice, right? With so much stuff coming into the market, and the thumbnail for these games, not representing exactly what the game is, right? And so, I think we're all trying to figure out what these tools are going to mean, right? And how we use it.
I don't know if you're trying to say, but a lot of people are just going to call this AI slop, right?
Dean, I'm trying not to go there, right? What I'm trying to say, and using a lot of words, is we explore these things carefully. And the backs of this also come from the Web3 space. And interestingly enough, there was a article here by our friends at GameSpeed. Blockchain's gaming market value plunged 67% in 2025.
Yeah.
Right? So again, as we're exploring these things, we need to understand what they are, how to use these tools to empower creators to make more things. But I think anybody that is trying to focus on discovery and sifting out content are going to be companies to back, right? Because we are about to get flooded with a tsunami of content, right, for consumers that they need to figure out how to navigate.
A lot of blockchain game companies have found trouble in the market, and they have pivoted to AI, I think, right? And some somewhat successly, and some are just probably starting. It sounds like blockchain is putting Bowser to sleep.
Well, listen, if you don't want to hear from us, listen to other veterans in the space, right? John and Brendan Romero are like, they were there in the 80s for the crash, and this is definitely crashier.
Oh, why do they say that?
The pair dramatically downsized the studio since the money dried up, but determined to keep on coding to the bitter end, right? And part of it is I feel the industry, like this is, Brenda saying this in her interview there, it's in a horrible place right now, likened to the U.S. video game crash of '83. She's like, we were all there in the 80s for the crash, and this is crashier. There are so few people that have not been affected, right? Or their partners have been affected, right?
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Dean,
on
the flip side of that, though, we see, again, studios that are popping up and doing incredible work, right? So right now, I think our feelings, our brains, we're kind of scattered all over the place, right? We need to find more stable waters to have these conversations and continue to sail through, right? To crib off of Don's.
It has been a long time to get to the brighter stories here, but there were a couple in the last week that surprised me at how big they've become, right? Mm-hmm. So like Sandbox VR has said they've grown to 80 locations for their location-based.
Right. Yeah. Wow. 300 million in revenue.
They're able to charge $50 for a 30-minute session, right? And they have crossed $300 million in lifetime sales.
Yeah.
And
so I want to try. Have you tried it, Dean?
Yeah, a number of times. Yeah,
I haven't. I should.
Things like their Star Trek and the Squid Game, and they have a lot of licensed titles, really. And
smart move.
So they're kind of fast at moving into these different kinds of trendy experiences, Stranger Things, I think that's good. The other thing that was interesting was see a trio of new cookie run games out of South Korea, including like an open world cookie run game, and they said that their sales have crossed $1 billion.
Oh my God! Really? That's amazing.
Which was not on my radar for a $1 billion game.
No.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, that's awesome. Good for them. That's good to hear.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, I'm going to go try it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking my birthday's coming up, and maybe that's what I get my family to do for my birthday is go to do one of the Stranger Things. The Stranger Things experiences. Mm-hmm. Force them.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah. This is all Dad wants. We're just going to go. No.
I don't want to. Don't make me play.
Exactly. Let's talk about something else super positive. Dean, would love to hear more about this. Announcing GameBeat's Visionary Awards 2026 judging panel. Yeah. Tell us more about the awards.
Yeah, we've been doing this will be the 9th year that we've given out the Visionary Award, and then 7 years for the Up and Comer Award. And these are 2 awards we give out at the GameSpeed Summit. We curate these. We have 10 people that are going to vote on these awards. We're also the nominating committee, and nice to see different past winners like Sarah Bond come back and be some of the judges, and Pat Vance who won the Visionary Award last year. She came back. Khalif Adams, who had won an Up and Comer Award a while back, and he's one of the judges now. So it's fun to see like that. This this gives them enough, I guess, joy for what they've done in the game industry to come back and try to give that to somebody else as well. Right? So,
yeah. No, this is great. And the winners that you have had here over the years are amazing, right? Rand Miller, Ted Price, John Smedley. I mean, amazing. And Rand is such a lovely human being too. So is Laura. Laura's like,
yeah.
We have we do have, in our institute, just also incredibly wonderful, leaders as well, right? And visionaries. So I'm glad to see that you continue to, and Pat, of course, is amazing. So yeah, that's great, Dean. That's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Of course.
We have another one that is brand new this year. It's a Boss Mode Awards for women in gaming as well. And they has started that out with a nominations process that allows anybody to nominate someone. And then they're taking that down to a short list. And then the 10 judges or so, they're going to vote on those winners for the GameSpeak Limit as well.
Yep. All right. What else do we have to cover? I know we're coming up here towards the bottom of the
Marathon had actually a decent launch after all. It was I guess highly criticized when they showed previews of it before, and there was some evident Gen AI usage in it that they went and scrubbed out of the game, and went back to work and came back and launched. Bungie launched this game. They have sold 1.2 million units so far, and that's not it's not a spectacular launch, but it's not a terrible launch either, which some of these games have experienced, right? And so I think that was that was pretty good result for them. I'm sure they were shooting for higher than that. They are owned by Sony now. Sony has very high ambitions for these companies. But I think one of the things Marathon did was they saw some of the engagement people have for ARC Raiders, right? And then so some of the experience looks more similar to the kind of experience you get in ARC Raiders. Except the difference between those two games is like there's a peaceful group of folks in ARC Raiders, and then there's a shooter group in ARC Raiders. In Marathon, there are only shooters.
Oh, hey, Mark, are you looking at your picture on the thumbnail there?
Am I looking at my picture? Oh, no feedback, please. What's happening there?
I want to thank our friend Ilya for sending me that here in the chat.
That's funny.
Let me see. Video Game History Foundation. I've got something to share there as well. As we're going to wrap up here and to talk about what we're going to be playing. They are just doing an amazing job. Phil and Frank and the team over there, again, just been doing some great work. And one of among the things that they've done recently is live from GDC 1989. They have basically preserved 21 hours of vintage game talks from GDC of 1989, right? So it's Chris Crawford and all those folks back in the day. So it's just fantastic to go ahead and listen to what they were saying, what did happen, things that didn't, and some of the same conversations that we're still having today, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So definitely go and check that out. But I wanted to highlight this they have a podcast called the Video Game History Hour. This one really got me. What is episode 152, Japanese mobile game preservation. And Phil Salvador came out here to the East Coast to attend MagFest and met up with these two digital preservationists, Ellen Cooper and Max Solinsky. And they were talking about how they are preserving Japanese mobile games or mobile games in the Japanese market that started back in the late 1990s, right? So 1999. I was walking around GDC with this. I actually have one of the very first actual Java mobile phones that on the back, it says Java 1 Demo 12. And that phone was released in 1989. It's literally one of the very first Docomo phones to come off the line there. And so then I went out and pulled out all of these old phones that I had in my collection. Right. Right. Yeah. And started to go through them.
And a taco phone there.
Yep. Yeah. We have this. That's not the side talking one though, but that one at the bottom there next to the Engage is one of the literally very first Java phones ever made.
Nice.
And then I was like, I bought batteries on Amazon to go put fresh batteries in. Here's East 1 on the Razor. And there you go, and it's still running. And the coolest thing was going back to play. I was like, wait a minute, it has my save game here from like 2002 or something, right? So I've just been having
had the charger for it.
Well, that's the thing. They all used a barrel charger, or they used a USB or a micro USB in some cases. Now I am trying to source the data cables for them so I can actually get and extract all the data off of them, right? And kind of just break down into the phone more. But as we're going to talk about what we're playing, this is what I'm playing. I am playing video game retrieval and archival right now, and I'm having a blast going, oh my God, there was a 13 game, right? XIII. There was a Prince of Persia game. There was, like, I'm finding all of these things going, my God, they were amazing. And it makes me want feature phones again, right?
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing some tinkering around with this and I'll report back later, but that's what I've been playing. And Darren, our buddy Darren Gladstone there in the chat says, but do you have a Gizmondo in that collection? I do as well. And that rubber became completely nasty and sticky, like it's all falling apart. But of course, I modded it and put, a bunch of emulators on there as well. Just to see how well they run. It's just absolutely crazy.
Rubberizing stuff's terrible over time.
Yeah, I would share one other thing too. This is so cool. What I love about some of the old technology we're bringing back. Nicholas Baird says, what is that top left monstrosity? That top left monstrosity is the first Linux handheld device from Sharp called the Zorus. And it used compact flash cards. And people are still modding them and updating images for it because they're using it as just a Linux terminal to go and sniff their network and do kinds of crazy stuff with this. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be going in and playing around with this too. So yeah. Technology doesn't die, right? We just, there it was. That's the one. That's the Zorus right there.
Oh man, look at that thing.
I know. Look at that. Look at that.
You should do a contest if somebody can name all of those.
Oh, without looking them up.
Yeah, well, I have to figure out how to do it. Yes, please, show us what's on your screen. Turn your camera around so we can see. It's just like, an interview that we would be doing. All right, let's talk about what we're playing. Dean, what are you playing, buddy?
Well, I have got Crimson Desert, and didn't go into that. I'm determined to get through the tutorial on this one. So that's one. And then I did go back to play Arc Raiders. I happened to play it with Justin Keeling out of Japan.
Oh yeah.
So
nice.
Figured out that people in other countries are on at the same time that I am.
That's really cool.
Awesome. How about you, Mark? What are you doing?
I'm still in recovery mode, but I did boot up Arc Raiders last night for the first time because my brother and I want to play together, and I thought I would get in and dig around and just try to understand how to move around the system. It was just like, that is a beautiful, beautiful game. Holy cow. And, of course I got creamed immediately, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
You should go through and get some help from Mark Chandler, who's level 75.
What?
Okay, here's the thing. I have not played Arc Raiders at all. Not played at all. Watched a bunch about it, just didn't play it, just don't have time. Yeah. And I also forgot that I should mention a Kickstarter that people should go ahead and take a look at there. Astro Burn by Beyond the Pixels. Mark, you and I met as walking around the show floor.
Oh, yeah.
I was able to go ahead and download and play their demo on Steam. It is a cute 'em up side-scrolling shooter.
Shoot 'em up.
And the physical version comes in a Super Famicom cartridge.
Wow.
That you pull the game out. The entire game is on the key there, so you're able to keep it. And here is Astro Burn. I mean, they've got all the meowing in a possum adventure. It's filled with all kinds of crazy puns. It is side-scrolling shoot 'em up cacophony, and it is Meowduken. I'm like, come on, that's a great pun. Meowduken. I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's currently they're in the middle of the Kickstarter now, but you can already wish list it, and it's just so freaking good to see these types of games continue to come out. And in the physical edition is a box and the entire soundtrack on a cassette.
Wow.
I'm like, yes, like they're hitting every, like, you know, freaking switch in the back of my brain.
I had a nice interview with Haas at GDC as well, and our story will run on that any time now, because it'll give it like the mid process Kickstarter boost.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, definitely go ahead and check out their Kickstarter, right? They're doing great work. He's so excited about this, as am I. So it's called Astro Burn, and you can go ahead and check out all the stuff there. But then you can also go ahead and play the demo and then wish list it on Steam right now. So yeah, definitely go check it out. But
that's awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, I think that is pretty much just going to go ahead and take us
2 minutes to go. What the hell? What are we doing? We're doing something wrong.
We're ending right here on time. Let's see. Were there any other
partner preview games? What else?
I'm still catching up, from GDC too.
I'm still catching up too. My office is still just a chaotic mess, pretty much.
Our friend Darren Gladstone says Tapwave got done dirty as well. I agree. The Tapwave, the handheld palm device that played, all these crazy games and stuff. Yeah, definitely got burned there for sure.
I did do a feature on this company called Explore Ride. That was getting EV buses going on tours around Honolulu.
Oh,
and they have XR headsets from HTC that they're putting on everybody. It's mixed reality, and so like when you approach something like a location at Diamond Head in the bus, then they can play like an eruption for you in the VR experience.
Nice.
Here's what this eruption actually looked like back then. And they're also thinking that like for historical tours too, they can show people what this place looked like, 100 years ago or something like that, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're doing these bus tours. I think that the next place they're going to do it is Manhattan. And they also had a technology that I guess help synchronize the movement of the bus with whatever's happening in the headset to reduce any kind of weird motion for the player, but also just keep all of the headsets in sync so everybody sees the same thing at the same time.
That's cool. Okay, so that's very, very cool.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I was glad you talked about that, and thanks for mentioning it. Did you guys ever see that somebody had taken a bus and replaced all the windows with screens, and then they were doing, this was 4 or 5 years ago, they would do tours with exactly like the history thing like you're talking about. So they would drive people through an area, and then they would transition the windows into screens and show them what it looked like 100 years ago. 500. Yeah, I was like, oh, that sounds amazing.
I love that. No, the only time I'd experienced that kind of a vehicle doing that was going to the Harry Potter parks. And you could get on the Hogwarts Express, and all of the windows were LCD. So you see characters flying by and stuff coming up to the window and everything. It was awesome. Yeah,
that's really cool.
All magic. All magic.
One startup that also had the same kind of sort of motion stabilizing tech in a demo they did in BMW. So you'd be in the back seat and play a VR game, and when the car turned, it was synced with the headset, and so they plugged into the telematics of the car in order to not give people motion sickness.
No, I would want the option to flip axes so that way I could make people just, oh, that's what you want to do? I told you to, kids, I told you to shut up back there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we did it.
That's why your kids won't play Sandbox VR with you. Now I understand.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Hey, and guess what? We went ahead and did it. We now got past the hour. So
we found it. I know. We actually found things to talk about.
Exactly. Exactly.
4 minutes late.
Yeah. Exactly. And so that's going to go ahead and take us out. I want to thank my co-hosts, Dean and Mark and Susan, for joining us here today. I want to thank all of you for joining us on this Friday, March 27th, not May. My goodness, that does look like a 5. I should have put my other glasses on. But yeah, tell your friends about this. We do this every week, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Go play some games, get out and play together, and we'll see you next week on Boss Rush. Take care, everybody. Bye.